The fastest way to ruin the excitement of buying a car is hearing your mechanic say, "Yeah, this is where they start getting expensive." Suddenly, that great deal doesn't feel like a deal anymore. It feels like a subscription service for surprise repairs. This is Ted from CarLandTV. Cheap cars aren't always cheap to own, and plenty of good deals turn into monthly arguments with your bank account. The cars that actually matter are the ones that stay boring after the warranty disappears. Toyota Corolla. The Toyota Corolla keeps getting called boring by people who confuse reliability with personality, but boring starts sounding pretty attractive when your repair bill is smaller than your monthly coffee budget. There's a reason so many people quietly end up in one after owning something more exciting that kept asking for money like it was on payroll. A big part of that comes down to repair costs staying stubbornly normal. A basic oil change usually costs around $60 to $90, depending on where you live. Brake pads and rotors on the front axle often run $250 to $450, not some luxury car hostage situation. A starter replacement might be around $400 to $700, and even a water pump job usually stays far more reasonable than what you'd see on a German sedan that thinks every repair should involve emotional damage. The engines help a lot here. Older one. 8-liter Corollas, with the 2ZR, FE, and newer 2-liter models with the M20A, FKS, are naturally aspirated and mechanically simple compared to small turbo rivals. Fewer heat-related headaches, fewer forced induction surprises, and fewer moments where a mechanic says, "Well, technically," right before your bank account gets punched. Even the CVT, which usually makes buyers nervous enough to start praying in the parking lot, tends to behave better here than in many competitors. Toyota kept it conservative, and regular fluid service matters more than miracle luck. I remember looking at a used Corolla years ago with 170,000 miles and thinking it looked like a tax refund on wheels. Not exciting, not glamorous, but the owner had a folder of maintenance receipts, so thin it almost felt disrespectful. That's the point. Cheap ownership is not flashy. It's the quiet satisfaction of your car needing tires instead of therapy. Honda Civic. A Honda Civic usually shows up right after somebody gets tired of funding their mechanic's vacation. One overpriced repair on a fun used SUV, one mystery warning light that somehow costs $2,700, and suddenly a plain Civic starts looking like the smartest person in the room. Consistency is the whole game here. Older Civics with the 1.8-liter R18 and newer ones running the 2-liter K20 have a reputation for doing their job without constant financial drama. Even the 1.5-liter turbo versions can be solid if maintained right, but for long-term ownership, the naturally aspirated setup still feels like the safer bet if your goal is sleeping peacefully. The repair bills stay refreshingly normal. Oil changes usually land around $60 to $90. Front brake pads and rotors often run between $300 and $500. A starter or alternator replacement can sit around $500 to $800, depending on labor and whether your local shop charges by the hour or by emotional damage. Compared to entry-level German sedans that treat every repair like a hostage situation, that's a bargain. Parts availability helps more than people realize. Civic parts are everywhere, and every independent mechanic already knows the platform. Nobody needs a 3-day diagnostic ceremony and a specialist with a European accent energy just to replace something basic. One older Civic I checked out years ago looked like it had survived college, 2 bad relationships, and at least one road trip nobody wanted to talk about. Faded paint, dented bumper, and coffee smell permanently installed in the seats. It still drove straight, shifted clean, and felt like it would probably outlive the owner. People keep buying Civics for the same reason people trust a good hammer. It handles the job without creating new problems. When the goal is keeping your bank account intact, boring starts looking like a luxury. Mazda Harum. Pull into a parking lot full of compact sedans, and the Mazda 3 is usually the one that makes people walk back for a second look. Not because it's expensive, but because it doesn't feel like it was designed by a committee whose only goal was emotional neutrality. Then the better surprise shows up later. Ownership doesn't punish you for liking it. A lot of compact cars start feeling cheap the longer you own them. The Mazda 3 usually goes the other direction. The steering stays tight. The cabin doesn't turn into a percussion instrument at 90,000 miles, and the doors still shut with that solid thunk that makes you think, okay, somebody actually cared here. That matters more than people admit, because a car that feels worn out early makes every repair feel more insulting. The repair side stays reasonable too. Oil changes are usually around $70 to $100. Front brakes often land between $300 and $500. A starter replacement can run $500 to $800, depending on labor rates and whether your mechanic enjoys delivering bad news like a courtroom verdict. None of that feels fun, but it also doesn't feel like the car is plotting against you. Underneath that, Mazda made a smart long-term decision with the 2-liter and 2.5-liter Skyactiv G engines. Naturally aspirated in most trims, paired with a conventional 6-speed automatic instead of a CVT support group, they avoid a lot of the headaches that show up in rivals chasing every last MPG headline. Less turbo stress, fewer transmission horror stories, and a lot fewer late-night forum searches that start with, "Is this normal?" That balance is why people end up keeping them longer than planned. You buy it because it feels nicer than a Corolla, then 5 years later, you realize it also behaves like one. Toyota Camry. Some cars make a great first impression and then spend the next 5 years apologizing for it. The Toyota Camry does the opposite. The test drive is almost boring. Then somewhere around year 6, when nothing expensive has exploded, and your mechanic barely remembers your name, you start realizing why people keep buying these things. A lot of mid-sized sedans age like milk once the warranty disappears. Camrys usually age like that one friend who somehow still has their life together. The suspension stays composed, the cabin doesn't fall apart for sport, and the drivetrain, especially the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder and the old 3.5-liter V6, has a long history of surviving mileage that would make other brands start writing farewell letters. One reason repair costs stay sane is how ordinary the work is. Oil changes are around $70 to $100. Front brakes usually fall between $300 and $500. Even bigger jobs like an alternator, water pump, or starter often stay in the $500 to $900 range, depending on labor. Nobody enjoys paying for maintenance, but there's a huge difference between normal upkeep and financial betrayal. I've seen older Camrys with faded paint, coffee-stained seats, and enough grocery store battle scars to qualify for military benefits, still driving like they had no interest in retiring. They're rarely exciting, but reliability has its own kind of swagger once you've owned something unreliable. People buy a Camry expecting transportation. Years later, they realize they accidentally bought peace of mind. That's usually a much better deal. Honda Creux. Crossovers have a sneaky talent for pretending they're practical while quietly preparing a financial ambush. Big wheels, giant screens, fancy trim names, and then 80,000 miles later, you're explaining a repair bill that sounds like tuition. The Honda CR-V usually avoids that whole performance, which is exactly why people keep buying them. Families rarely brag about owning a CR-V, but they hang on to them forever. That tells you more than any commercial ever will. Older models with the 2.4-liter K24 and newer ones with the 1.5-liter turbo have built a reputation for being the kind of vehicle that just keeps handling school runs, grocery trips, bad weather, and life in general without demanding constant apologies from your savings account. The smart part is how manageable the maintenance feels. Oil changes usually land around $70 to $100. Front brake work often costs between $300 and $500. Even bigger jobs like an alternator, starter, or suspension repair tend to stay in a range that feels annoying, not personally insulting. Parts are everywhere, and most independent shops know these things so well they could probably service one while holding a conversation about baseball. I've noticed CR-V owners talk about them the same way people talk about a really dependable dog. Not exciting, not glamorous, but weirdly trustworthy. One older CR-V I rode in had over 200,000 miles, mismatched tires, and enough cracker crumbs in the back seat to support wildlife. It still drove straight and felt like it had zero intention of retiring. That kind of ownership experience matters more than horsepower numbers. When the goal is protecting your wallet after the warranty ends, boring competence starts looking like one of the best features a vehicle can have. Lexus S. Luxury cars have a funny way of making people feel successful right before the maintenance bill arrives and restores humility. A lot of buyers learn that lesson through a used German sedan and a service advisor who suddenly knows them by first name. The Lexus ES usually enters the picture right after that phase of life. It carries the comfort people wanted in the first place: a quiet cabin, a soft ride, seats that feel like they were designed by somebody who respects your spine, but without the constant threat of financial punishment hiding behind the badge. An ES 350 with Toyota's 3.5 liter V6, or an ES300H hybrid, gives you the kind of mechanical reputation that lets you sleep at night instead of searching forum threads at midnight. Maintenance stays surprisingly reasonable for something parked in the luxury section. Oil changes usually run around $80 to $120. Front brake service often falls between $350 and $600. Even bigger repairs like a water pump, alternator, or starter feel manageable compared to German rivals that charge like they're rebuilding a private jet. Age is where this car becomes convincing. High-mileage examples still feel composed, doors still close with purpose, and the cabin doesn't start sounding like a toolbox in a dryer. Leather wears well, road noise stays low, and the whole thing carries itself like it knows depreciation is somebody else's problem. Owning one feels less like chasing luxury and more like quietly refusing unnecessary stress. The badge gets attention, but the real flex is opening your banking app and not seeing your car listed as an active threat. Subaru Outback. Buying a Subaru Outback can either be one of the smartest long-term decisions you make or the beginning of an intimate relationship with your mechanic. The difference usually comes down to one question: which year did you buy? Subaru loyalty is real, but so is the sound of somebody saying, "head gaskets," and watching your soul leave your body. Older Outbacks with the EJ25 built that reputation the hard way. Coolant leaks, external head gasket failures, oil seepage, overheating in traffic. Owners learned to read the temperature gauge like it was a legal document. Plenty of people still love those cars, but love gets tested when the heater is blasting in July just to keep the engine alive. Later models, especially once Subaru moved deeper into the FB series engines and improved reliability, tell a much better story. The newer 2.5-liter setups and the naturally aspirated versions tend to be far easier to live with if maintenance has been handled properly. Regular oil changes usually run around $70 to $100. Front brake service often lands between $350 and $550. Nothing feels cheap, but it stays far away from the kind of luxury SUV repair bill that makes you reconsider adulthood. The Outback also earns points in places spec sheets never explain. Bad weather, rough roads, camping trips, hauling dogs, hauling kids, hauling both at the same time. It feels like a car built by people who have actually been outside. Standard all-wheel drive and that wagon-like shape make daily life easier in a way flashy SUVs rarely do. A clean, well-maintained, newer Outback feels like smart money. An older, neglected one feels like adopting a beautiful problem. Shopping for this model without checking service history is basically gambling with hiking boots on.